Hello, good evening. Welcome to Let's Have a Fefe Season 11, Episode 23. I can't believe we're already into this season. I have no idea where the time has gone. I still don't understand why, like last year seemed to take like 3 years, and this year, February took so, but that's okay. Here we are. And for more than 10 years, we have been your Wednesday night conversation. Welcome to Let's Have a Fifi yet again. I am not Felicia Minor. I know that can be confusing for some. I know that we can for each other a lot, but I am not Felicia. I am, though, Freddy Prinze Charming. And if you haven't subscribed to our Patreon yet, you totally should, because we put all sorts of exclusive content and fun stuff on there. Here we go. I admit I am a little bit behind on my portion of things. I apologize, since time has not been my friend recently. It has been like one thing after another, and I'm still extraordinarily. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go to Austin with 3 suitcases full of nothing but socks and like one rhinestone. I don't know. I'm feeling things. It's going to be very. It'll be fine. But we would like to thank our patrons: Brandon, Chris, and Michelle, D, Drake Jensen, Casey Starr, Corey, Kim, Joan, Leanne, Nicole, and Shannon. We appreciate so much. And of course, special thanks to our sponsors this season: Success Boutique, LC Designs, and Kind. I am extraordinarily sad that Success Boutique is going to have to close its doors. But if you still want to be able to support them while you can, go check out their website, successboutique.com. All of their right now are 60% off. So whatever they have left in stock, go score some deals and a last hurrah to a fantastic queer-owned business. I honestly don't know what I'm going to do when they're finally not here, because I don't know where the hell I'm going to get any of my makeup. So there is that. It's fine. If you would like to tip us or sponsor us or do anything like that, you can do going to paypal.me/let's have a Fifi. And if you're extraordinarily bored, you can text LHAF to 602-730-7379 to get updates about the show and random text from Felicia, whatever it is that she feels like sending you. I don't know. And if you are on Facebook, we are, I guess they're still doing the stars. You can do that apparently on like regular profiles now, because Facebook keeps telling me that people can send me stars on my posts when I'm just posting from my own profile. Very strange. But you can click the stars button at the bottom and we can earn a couple bucks here and there. So if you want to do that, that's awesome. Thank you, of course, to the folks that have already sent us some stars: DJ Image, Eddie Omega, Emily, Tony, the Tiger, Mattia, Laura Renfro, and so many of you others. We appreciate all of you who continue to support us. Hot mess and all. Ooh. As I we got back from the Steam Chin last week, the week before. I'm not sure. We got back at some point. I don't know. And I immediately rolled into getting everything organized for AIDF, because there is no downtime. I still had costumes that needed to be finished. I have I need to plan for, plus all the other stuff that I need to wear throughout the weekend. It's a lot. Like, it really is. It's a lot. For those that have never been to AIDF, as a spectator, I highly recommend it. You will never see so much drag in your life, and it's inclusive. It's not all about like the big name people. It's not, let's watch all these queens that get $15,000 bookings or whatever walk down a fucking red carpet. And it's so inclusive and it's so diverse and it's amazing. If you're in the Austin area, I highly recommend getting tickets. going to see things. Thursday night, there's a trans and non-binary showcase. Friday night is the King showcase, and then like there's all sorts of stuff all through again. And then the show is getting closed out. The festival is getting closed out on Sunday with an 8. Like it's gonna be amazing. But I I leave on Sunday, and I'm still pretty sure that I have no idea I have no idea. It's fine. I have checklists, but the checkly helping. But hey Eddie, hey Justine. Um on top of the regular prepping for AIDF, which is, packing and making sure that all my costumes have all the pieces, which that's been fun trying to scrounge up stuff. I have decided that I was going to get more familiar with the Cricut and make a couple merch things, because why not, right? So I've also been making merch, and I'm pretty sure I now have a Cricut problem. I've made 2 different designs of t-shirts, which actually I would show you, but I just put them in a suitcase. If maybe I'll dip over and grab them so you can see what they look like. I like them. I made one of each design for myself so I can wear them, because why not? And I tried my hand yesterday at making stickers, which I think are not really stickers, but actual like decals. Didn't do too badly. I can see some tweaking. I'm still getting the hang of it. But now I'm like on the lookout for all sorts of whenever Cricut stuff goes on sale, because now I have to get all the fucking materials and all the shit. It's a thing. It is. It's fine. But I mean, we have it, so I may as well use it, right? Um and on top of it, so the weekend after, so I leave on Sunday for Austin. I'm there the week, and I come back very late the following Monday. And then that weekend I head to Tucson for Southwest Love Fest. Wow. Where Michael and I are presenting how to be a trans ally in bed. Not just, I mean, because it's a good presentation. So I've been working on that as well. We had a meeting the other day, we're point, all that good stuff. So yeah. Justine, I like the smart vinyl. I've been looking on Amazon for the smart vinyl, because we have the Cricut Maker 3, which means that if we have the smart iron on, we don't have to use the cuttings, which we don't have, so I need to get those anyway. But we don't have the cutting mat thing, so smart vinyl and the smart iron on are the only things I can use. Like it, but it's fine. It works anyway. Felicia and I also recorded a video for Transgender Day of Visibility, which we posted onto our Patreon. It was for something completely separate, but we decided to post it on our Patreon. So if you are a patron, you will see that video. Go check that out. Yeah. So that's been my week. It's been a little nuts. It's been a little crazy. My multitasking skills are not as good as they used to be. I think I'm with the brain fog that came along with all the COVID and shit, along with everything else that came along with the COVID. The brain fog is real. So that's one of those awesome long-term effects that that's totally a thing. So it's fine. With snacks on the seat next to me. It works out. It's fine. So speaking of Transgender Day of Visibility, I can't even talk tonight. Jesus, what is wrong? Mm-hmm. So speaking of Transgender Day of Visibility, that is actually on Friday, March 31st. And I think now more than ever, really, being visible is so important. Um, but I think right now more than ever, it's a challenge because being publicly and visibly trans, puts us directly in harm's way. And it's trying to find a balance, and it gets a little tricky. Right now there are blatant attacks on the trans community that are happening across the country in the form of legislation. And these things aren't theories. They're not just, oh, well, maybe they're going to, these are things that are being thrown out there and they're making it through, the everything, and they're passing, which is just mind blowing to me. And then you have the more subtle attacks that are disguised as anti-drag legislation. Both are dangerous. And the unfortunate thing is that we're fighting this fight alone, essentially, with no help from the hey Felicia, with no
Hi.
help from the federal government in Washington, who continue to stay thunderously silent while states slowly strip away human and civil rights of the trans community. Like, uh, we're more concerned with wars that have literally nothing to do with us, and
Mm.
mining and drilling and all this shit. Meanwhile, we have states that are taking people's rights away, and there's literally no, you hear crickets from Washington. Nothing. This should be, I don't understand how this is legal. I also don't understand, though, how the Supreme Court can just be like, I'm going to take away everybody's rights, too. Like, there should be a safeguard for that, but whatever, what do I
Well,
know?
we do know what that's like because there are certain people on the Supreme Court that have agendas and have released manifestos.
Well, yes, but again, that shit should be illegal. Like, your position of power, if you are blatantly saying, I would like to strip these rights away, like, I don't understand that. So
Yeah.
I see there's, everybody is posting all these things that the memes and things that say, drag is not a crime. What they really need to
Hmm.
say is being trans is not a crime. Because, and this is where the anti-drag bills are very thinly veiled when it comes to being anti-trans, because they say anti-drag and they're all about, oh, drag queen. Here's the thing, though: the cisgender drag folks go back to being cisgender when the show's over. They don't dress in a
Hmm.
manner contrary to their birth sex, which, if you read these drag bills, almost all of them have that kind of verbiage in it. It's considered,
Hmm.
it's trying to make it illegal to dress in a manner that does not align with your birth sex. Now, does that sound like drag, or does that sound like being trans? It's they're passing them off as anti-drag,
Very
but
much
it
so.
is far bigger than that. If you like, it goes above and beyond drag. And also, just throwing it out there, if y'all are having these fucking shows that are like, drag is not a crime, and all you have are like
It's all
RuPaul
drag
queens,
queens.
and you have no kings at all, like, come
Hmm.
on. Like, and that's, no. Check your privilege, because that's it. Bullshit.
Hmm.
I don't, and that's the thing, is that while folks are worried drag being attacked, they really need to take a deeper look at what these bills are about. Like,
Hmm.
great, it's fantastic, drag, whatever, but you really need to examine these bills and understand that it's not really about drag per se. So,
Especially when it says like you're wearing clothes of the gender you haven't been assigned or some craziness, and you're like,
mhm.
oh, So I know they're not going after like cisgender men and saying you can't wear that skirt. Um, but I have a feeling that very deep down inside um, is very trans focused. And yeah, gross.
Yeah,
It makes someone
it's
more comfortable and it's not hurting anyone. Who the fuck cares what someone does or identifies as long as they're good humans. We good. Yeah, we good. But also, so historically, queer people, trans people have been scapegoats for years. So they take the easy way when we've got all kinds of stuff going on, like Donald Trump's being investigated.
mm.
There, a lot of stuff is going on. So this is like a distraction, and I've heard that over and over. But
Oh yeah,
what's crazy about this distraction is that it's harmful, very
right.
harmful.
Yeah. So one thing I am going to say right now is just like with everything as language evolves and whatnot, we recognize that language evolves and things
Hmm.
change slightly. So um what we're starting to do, those of us that have it that educate on allyship and things like that within with the trans community, one thing that we are trying to kind of get away from is saying, your gender identity, or I identify as, or whatever, because the right wing nut jobs are saying things like, well, what's going to stop me from identifying as a tree? Or what if I want to identify as a Coke can, or whatever the fuck it is? Like, it's the thing
Hmm.
about gender is that it's not an identity, it just is. Gender just is. So it's not your gender identity, it's just your gender. So going forward, if this is it's helpful, especially if our allies can pick up this sort of thing as well, where if you're talking about someone's gender, whether they're trans, whether they're cis or non-binary, whatever it is, if you can try to leave the word "I" out of it, it's like
Hmm.
saying pronouns. Preferred, they just are. An
I just
identity,
is.
like saying identity or preferred or something along those lines, it can give the impression that they are not mandatory, that it's not necessarily. I mean, so what we're trying to do is give it a sense of normalcy. So pronouns are not preferred; they are just pronouns, and gender is not necessarily an identity. It just is. It is just gender. It is just your gender, and my fucking thing is going to drive me crazy. So, despite this from Capitol Hill, with as loud as the far right gets when it comes to these things, the louder they get, the louder we get, and the louder our supporters get. In a lot of places, it may seem like those who support us are the minority, but I truly believe that all in all, bigotry is the minority as a whole, and it's it's just because somebody happens to be louder and doesn't mean that they are the majority. And for every person that trans rights or trans healthcare or whatever, three more pop up and speak up for it. And it's just like with the drag story hours and stuff. Every time the freaking Proud Boys or whatever decide to start making a fuss, then
Who? I've never heard of them.
they it brings out more people to support us, and it kind of has the opposite effect of what they plan. So just we need our supporters and our allies to be even louder than they ever have been. um
I have you.
yes.
Okay, so I need to wherever this is. I think I've blocked the person since this has happened. Um, and I'm not sure if anybody's aware of this, but we also have people that are gay or lesbian that are against and against the T and for these bills. You're aware of this, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, what do we do to counteract that? As I said, I blocked the person, but I was thoroughly like, I felt like somebody had like ripped out my heart, kind of surprised. Like, what the fuck?
That I mean, we say all the time that being a part of the community doesn't make you doesn't mean that you are exempt from being a big asshat. Um,
Hmm.
and the especially when it comes to like the cis gays that are making a fuss about all of this shit, it's they obviously don't know anything about their history, because if it wasn't for the trans community, cis gays would have nothing. Sorry, but it's the truth. The trans community has always been there to fight for everybody else,
Hmm.
but when it comes to having them fight for us, it's a lot of times it's very, very silent. And there's not much we can do, because with some of these folks, you're not gonna be able to change their mind.
Well, this
The only thing,
account I blocked because it like full on was going with what's the surgery down below and saying that this is still not it was going way deep and it like tore me apart.
ugh,
Cuz I don't really block people per se, but this was like a queer person saying like that trans people that are born they're if they're AFAB, they are AFAB. If they're uh, they they are born that way, they are that way. And I couldn't believe what was posted there, and I even reported it too. Um, and I got a report back that said it
no,
didn't
they're not doing
violate
anything.
any.
The only thing, honestly, that we can do is be louder than they are. I mean, it's not going to be at the next mind. So we just need to be louder than can. I was trans in 2014. I've never really hidden it, and in fact, I've been very vocal about my journey, and my privilege and my struggles. And I mean, anybody
Mhm.
that knows me and has known me for a while knows that my transition was actually pretty public. We talked about this, Felicia and I talked about this on the video that we made. I
It's on
transitioned very
Patreon.
publicly. I did it essentially on the Fefe. Like, it was every week there would be something. Um, and I live very openly as trans, mean that I don't have fears or concerns for my safety. I often rely on my cis assumed privilege to avoid potentially dangerous situations. The problem with that is that I'm cis assumed, but I'm not hetero, which could potentially open up to other issues, which could just snowball. So I might not get, beat the fuck up because I'm trans, but I could get beat the fuck because people think I'm a fag. So
You're the gay
eh,
best friend.
it's a little. I also make continue to educate as often as I can, capacity or in a social setting like this. Um,
Mhm.
and as we roll up on we have a special guest that's going to join us in a minute. I'm going to finish this up and then I'm going to bring our special guest on. It's kind of a surprise. So as we roll up on Transgender Day of Visibility, and as a reminder for every day, everyone, that even though so many of us choose to be visible, we are more than just the transgender label. We are artists, we are performers, doctors, lawyers, teachers, chefs, and not just trans artists or trans performers or trans doctors, trans lawyers, trans teachers, trans chefs. The moment that you stick that trans label in front of whatever else we are, everything else almost becomes secondary. So when you're talking about us to somebody or whatever it is, make sure that us being trans isn't the first thing that pops in your head about us. We are so much more than all of that. And to be a better ally, here are some reminders and some tips for everybody. Never out a trans person without their explicit permission. Just ask for pronouns, and it's not preferred pronouns, it's just pronouns. Listen to what trans folks are saying. Don't speak over us. Don't listen to what we're telling you, and don't try to argue with us when we're trying to tell you something because you think you know better. Don't try to mansplain, don't cisplain, don't do any of that shit. Just listen. Be mindful of your language when talking to or about someone trans. Check your privilege. What you say and what you do when we are not around says more than what you say and do when you're with us, because anybody can support us when it's what you say when we're not with us, when that is what really matters. First, to a person's gender, because you don't know. And again, don't over have a voice. Ourselves, we may need someone to help. It's not speak for us, it's about amplifying our voices. That being said, we have a sort of last minute surprise special guest this evening, and I'm super. Hello, everyone.
Hello!
This is Madame Askew, one half of the Madame Askew and the Grand Arbiter.
Right.
And I invited Askew on this evening so that she can tell you a little bit about this fabulous thing that she is doing that I'm so excited about.
Yes.
And she can tell you what she's doing and give you the details. Madam
Plus, I love that hat. I love
Hello.
that
Oh,
hat.
thank you. I can be convinced to make them for other people if I love them.
Oh.
Hello! It's so wonderful to see you both. Thank you for having me on. I love getting to spend time with you. And Freddy, of course, is being very bashful and humble, but Freddy really helped me with some of my research and background for the event we're going to talk about. And that event is the Terrific Drag Challenge. And essentially what we're doing is we're encouraging people to donate to a number of local organizations and one national organization that centers mostly trans youth, trans people, and the queer community at large, but also drag performance, because I'm certain you've heard, and I suspect there's been some conversation about it, but there was this little thing that happened, and I say little because I'm being sarcastic, where we were going to have a drag story hour here in Tucson, where I live, and it had to be sort of temporarily cancelled and rescheduled for the future due to hateful terrorist people threatening the participants and putting people potentially at risk. So I understand the need to move it. I was not shocked because I pay attention, but I was very distressed. And I wanted to do something to show my support. And so thus was born sort of this thing. But really what started it all was that I was making things as I do. And I made this medal in honor of drag performers. And rather than just me pick all of my favorite drag performers, you know who you are. I thought it would be really nice if I would inspire people to donate in exchange for nominating their favorite drag performers for a medal. So as you are donating, go to our event page. There's a Google form. It's really painless. Go to the Google form, say, I donated. We'll believe you. And then nominate your favorite drag performer, preferably someone you know well enough that it's not going to be weird when I ring them up and I'm like, oh, I'd like to send you a medal for being fantastic. So there are some drag performers that you may have seen on the television on a certain prize-winning show that's sort of a reality experience. I don't think any of us have their addresses. Please do not nominate Violet Chachki, for example. That would not be a good choice unless you know them, right? So we have
Stick with maybe
an event.
local drag performers. That could be local to you, wherever you are. It doesn't have to be Arizona. It could be wherever.
And also for the charities, whilst we are representing local charities that we discussed with friends who are part of the drag community and are part of the trans community, it is not necessary that you donate to our local charities. If you are not in Tucson or in Arizona, please donate to someone local to you. We have fans who are all over North America and Australia, New Zealand, and all over the place. And so you can support your local community. That's really what we want, is to inspire people to support their local community. This is a really good time.
Yeah.
To be doing that,
it's
right?
fantastic. So. It's amazing. And I love doing this. When Madame Askew sent me a message and was like, this is what I'm doing, I was phenomenal. And I'm like, oh, since you're doing that, here's a couple of suggestions. Drag Story Hour is one of the organization recommended organizations on the event. As is AZ Typo, which is the Arizona Trans Youth and Parent Organization, which right now it could like, oof, yeah. Laura, you can nominate anybody. It's drag performer, literally anybody. That's why it's drag performer, not drag queen, not drag king, whatever. Right. It's drag performer. So it could be anybody. But you know, we do need all the support we can get right now, and it is rough out there. And I said this last night, and I will say again, I think you are an absolute treasure. I absolutely fucking adore you. I am so grateful to have allies like you in the Grand Arbiter. You know, in our corner, we need more people like you. And you know, you have a large following, and you know, almost there. Most of the folks that follow you are pretty good as far as allies go. I've met a few of them.
They better.
You know,
they are, and they're open to learn.
Right, and that's the key thing. And you know, I'm hoping that this gives folks an opportunity to be able to help. Maybe they're like, I have no idea what to do at this point. Like, what do I do? Like, this sucks, but I don't know what to do. And here's something,
give them a place to go,
that you can do that will benefit organizations that need it. I think it's absolutely stake, and I'm so grateful for you. We did post the link in the chat on the Facebook. And I think it's going to Twitter.
We'll repost it later too.
As well. Yes, we will post it on our page. We will spread it all over the place. Go check it out. Please, please, please check it out. Go to your favorite LGBTQ trans organization, whether it's one of the ones that were suggesting the event, or one that is more local to you, or something completely different. Whatever it is that you want to do, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Thank you.
I will say that I'm very careful when I do this. So when donating to LGBTQ plus focused organizations, make sure that they make it known that they are supporting trans community, because there are some LGBTQ plus community organizations that don't spell out that they support the trans community, and I have a fair feeling that they don't do as much as they should for the T when we lean on the T.
Yeah. And if I may, Felicia, it's important because there are some communities that are essentially TERFs who are masquerading as allies otherwise, and we don't want to give them our dollars right now. So I just want to end my time with all of you because this is thank you for having me, and you
No,
both
thank
look so
you.
gorgeous.
No, thank you. I told you I wanted to make sure that we could get you on because I wanted folks to hear from you what you were doing. And yeah,
Wait, let's
and so
see
you
the
currently have
bigger. Let's
3.
see. Oh, wait. Sorry, hold on.
That's not me. No, wrong way.
You're
That's not
beautiful.
wrong one. Wrong one. There we go.
So
there's currently 3. If if 300, so for every time there's a $300 hit $300 in donations, then Madam Askew will make, is it 3 more or 1 more?
That's
3 more.
correct. I will make 3 more because I secretly I want to give them to all the drag performers, but I am but one woman. I'm one person, and I cut myself off 3 at a time because otherwise I'd go to every drag show and I'd be, you get a medal, and you get a medal, and you get, and then I'd be bankrupt from making medals. So
making the medals.
And each of these medals has sort of like a story behind it. So there's some symbolism. We talked about it a little bit when I made the first one, that I think about each of the little tchotchkes that are on these.
Oh, that has a flamingo on it.
This one has a flamingo and a starfish, because you are a star of the oceans. You are a conqueror of the seas of love, if you get this one. Right?
Yeah.
So, because I tell myself little stories when I'm doing these.
I'm pretty sure Madame Askew puts some brandy in her tea while she's drinking it. It's fine. It's totally fine.
It was a night in which I needed a strong cup of tea, and it was very strong.
I don't think that
so there you
there's
have it.
any
For every
tea in there.
For every $300 in donations, Madame Askew will make 3 more medals, which can go to 3 more deserving drag artists. So
That's right.
Thank you again, Madame Askew. I'm so glad that you were able to pop on and talk about it. And we will get the link posted across. It will post it in our group.
Across
we will post it on the Patreon. We will post it on the Fefe page. All the things. So
thank you both so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
My
we
pleasure.
love you.
I love both of you, and thank you for being such luminaries in our Arizona community and for showing people like me ways in which we can be supportive of our community and show up. I really appreciate you both. So
absolutely.
Good night, my darlings. Thank you all. Have a wonderful evening. Cheers.
Wonderful.
I love that we were able to get her on. I wanted to, when she told me about it, I wanted to make sure that we were able to get her on. I wanted to tell everybody about it herself, so that the horse's mouth, she's doing the work to make the medals and everything to make sure that she was able to pop on and let everybody know about it. So thank you all for humoring. Thank you for Felicia, because I told Felicia, I said Madame Askew's going to pop on.
Well, I don't have a problem. I think that I'm surprised that more people are not doing more. I even thought to myself that I haven't done a fundraiser in a while, but I could definitely support this one and get people to donate. And in fact, you all should probably donate. No, but
I think you should.
I don't want to tell you what to do. I don't want to tell you what to do.
All right, on to we've got some doozies as far as current events.
Wow.
So
you started with that one.
So this week, there was a school shooting in Nashville that killed 6. It was at a Christian school. Shooter had a Christian elementary school. Shooter had 2 assault weapons and a handgun. Same old, right? Whatever. There was one thing though that set this apart from the normal mass shootings, and that is that the shooter was actually trans. They're dead named and misgendered news. So, but if you read between the lines, their social media said that they use the name Aiden and masculine pronouns. So,
okay, so I have questions.
Mm-hmm.
So do they go off of what is on file? I know this may seem like a dumb question, but do they go by what's on file, or do they go by?
Honestly, they shouldn't. It should be, the person says I use this name and pronoun, then that should be what it is. Like, regardless of
Well, the only
if they
reason
were
why
out to their friends that they knew 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Like,
no, the only reason
because
why I ask that is when a police report is written and it goes off of the ID,
it
or
does, but
so how
they found out real quick
uh-huh.
that the name and pronouns were different.
Oh, okay.
So it was like within the first article that came out, they said, well, their friend said that, on their social media, they used the name Aiden and went by pronouns. And then they just ignored all of that, continued to use their birth name and feminine pronouns. But this is an example of how being a member of the LGBTQ plus community doesn't preclude you from being a shitty human. And unfortunately, this is exactly the kind of thing that the right are looking for to be able to use against. Completely ignore the fact, however, that all the other mass shooters have been gender, and most of those have been white men. We're just going to ignore it, and we're going to make sure that we focus on this one. This one happens to be trans. The shooter apparently was a former student and had apparently been under care for an emotional disorder. So, shooter was 28 years old. To a Christian school. Obviously trans, feeling some type of way. Can't imagine why they might feel some hostility towards a Christian school.
I'll take trauma for 400.
Emotional disorder they might be under care for.
I like to take trauma for 400, please.
Just saying, we're just gonna ignore all of that. We're just gonna say that it was, something. It's probably women problems or something.
I believe that there are many of the Christian faith that yeah, no one is talking about the church and how it's super conservative and not supportive of LGBTQ plus folks. So I come from the Catholic faith, and at times that where I wanted to believe, every time I went to a church, we were fighting gay marriage, and I was like, why is this in a place of faith? Don't we love, believe in each other and whatever? And it turned out, no, you hear this Pope-like figure, and it wasn't the Pope, but Pope-like figure that was saying no, we cannot have this in our house, and we cannot have this in our faith, and we need to convince our brethren that they are not gay. And you're like, huh? So I can understand the trauma that may be going on there because you go there every day.
Right. I mean, and I can only imagine, if feeling some kind of way in elementary school, if they had said something like, well, I'm not, how that would have gone, and, at a Christian elementary school. So I don't know that I can necessarily, I think I understand the sentiment. However, the fact that if you want to work out your trauma and you want to go and shoot a bunch of, kids that have nothing to do with anything, then that still makes you a shitty human, because a lot of us go through trauma. And we're not killing anybody because of it. So I, yeah.
Also, I'm just coming after the gays today, I guess. For y'all that posted on Facebook and you can see that I'm no longer connected to you, it's because of some of the things that you posted about this shooting. Instead of saying things the right way, you kind of went the wrong way. And all of a sudden, again, the gays were like, "Oh no, well they're not part of us. We're over here doing the right
No.
thing, And so, it's just very weird to see this happen, and definitely I did see the misgendering when it first broke, because the first thing that I saw on my phone was woman goes through school and church or something like that, and I was like, oh, that's the first time I've seen that before. But yeah, let's see. 19th deadly shooting at school and college this year. Oh, anyway, this year, yes. But drag and trans folks are the problem. 16 of those were in K through 12 schools, 130 mass shootings so far in 2023. Do you know how many people died last year from gun violence?
I know how
48.
many kids died. Kids died in 2021 from gun violence.
Yes. Tell us the number.
So this is a shocking statistic. I know anybody is going to be absolutely stunned to hear this because nobody would have ever imagined this. But finding that kids and teens are more likely to die by guns than anything else. Shocker. In 2021, firearms accounted for nearly 19% of deaths in youth 18, and almost 3,600 kids died in gun-related incidents in 2021. They're more likely to die by guns than car accidents, cancer, suffocation, or poisoning. Let's go back to Drag Story Hour.
So there is a terrible video going around social media, and it's this guy is asking like MAGA supporters, what's more dangerous, a drag entertainer or guns? And a lot of them answer. It's like you like gasp because you're like, are they serious? And they answer, drag entertainers are more dangerous than guns. And I, for the life of me, cannot figure it out. I cannot.
As far as I know, drag people have not managed 600 kids in the last year, but what do I know? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe a year ago, people were shooting at us in a club, and then I don't know.
But we're just gonna ignore these things.
I don't know. Guns don't kill people. People kill people.
Right. Cisgender white men kill people with guns.
They're the same
and
ones making the decisions.
Yep.
Let's see. Oh, I read this morning. It made me giggle a little bit. A Wisconsin school district bans Miley Cyrus and Dolly Parton's duet song called Rainbow Land because the lyrics could be seen as controversial. Should we? Are we doing this? We're doing this?
Yeah. Also, the movie Ruby Bridges, which is about a black first grader who integrated into an all-white school in the South, is under review in a Florida school district after a parent of a second grader filed an official complaint that said that the movie isn't appropriate for second graders because it could teach students racial slurs, how they are different, and that white people hate black people.
I don't think the movie's doing that. I think... But I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Mm.
I
Mm-hmm.
knew people that knew racial slurs before they watched any movie.
Oh, I was very well familiar with various racial slurs.
Mm.
Like, I ever said a movie that had racial slurs
You know
in
what,
it that I can
Justine? I
remember.
saw something where somebody created an animation where somebody kicked Florida off and it flew off. And then
Florida and
Australia said,
Texas.
no, we don't want that down here.
Like, Florida and Texas, actually, that kind of that chunk up there. So like up like north of Florida, like that cluster fuck of things. So
Mm.
like through Texas, like all of those states, just kind of there. If we just take that, and I'd be fine with that.
And then
I
we'll
no problem.
evacuate those that are allies and queer friendly. So,
Mm-hmm. And we should do a mass exodus and get everybody else.
I mean, they're trying to do it to
Fine.
us. They're trying to do it to us. So I don't know. I don't too too soon. Can we keep Austin though? Yes, yes, yes.
We'll cut like a donut hole.
There's a little piece.
It'll be fine.
Does that work?
So
Yeah.
yeah, and it has
We got a
been
lot of
it
stuff
has been a
going
week.
on.
It has been a week.
I do want to advise, because I have been reading y'all's post. Some of us are not okay, and it's showing. And I'm grateful that we can see the signs before they're too late. But for some that don't, but I do want to like check in on folks that you know are sensitive to these things, or maybe even the strongest people that you don't think are sensitive to these things.
Check in on the people that
Um,
you don't normally check in with, because yeah,
because I have seen some posts that I have been like, okay, I gotta send you a message because I don't like the tone. So yeah, be sure to check on those people because we're going through. We're going through. Right wing people may think that this is a joke and a distraction, but we're going through, and their biggest weapon is us fighting our internal
it's
self.
the infighting. It's the infighting and fighting within the community and
Hmm.
all those things that they like to do. And remember that when you see an anti-drag bill, it's bigger than just an anti-drag bill.
Hmm.
And people, especially people in Tennessee, people in Arkansas, people are very afraid right now.
Hmm.
Very
And
afraid.
there's other things going on, like banks are collapsing. Uh, what else did I read today? We're going through economic turmoil. We're fighting over gas prices. We're experiencing a drought. Mm, there's something else.
Usual shit.
Um,
Yeah. I don't know why the fuck gas
mhm.
prices went up again. I was like, we were doing so well for a minute there.
There's
But
some weird
also,
escalation, but
it always
mhm,
makes me chuckle a little bit. When you go to the gas station here and you see little stickers that say like Biden did this or whatever, right? But then you drive 45 minutes in any direction out of Phoenix and gas prices drop like 50 cents. So, I can go to another state and I'm going to pay almost $1 less for gas. So
supply and demand and
I'm going to say
greediness.
that no, blame Biden for everything, because otherwise gas prices would be the same, but they're not the same everywhere. Fuckers. I hate idiots. Oh my god, drives me
So
crazy.
there's that. And if you're curious, um, where these anti-LGBTQ plus laws are, they're usually on the website of your legislature, the Capitol, or what have you. But also, when you're there, look to see the bills that they're trying to pass. In fact, some states have a lot of book banning bills going on because they believe that the queers are taking over the world. I don't understand.
Oh, and
But
the Blacks, because Rosa Parks' book is on the
oh yeah,
families.
that's right. So we're apparently
Trust
we've
me,
done.
when the Blacks were taking over the world, things would be a lot different.
It'll be a little bit lively, I think.
Just saying. So, just.
I don't know.
All right. What
Yeah,
have
it would
you
be.
got going on over the
Please
next
sign up.
week or so?
Yes. I do encourage that, but so somebody asked me why I haven't done this. I am a target.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me to do that would open so many other doors. So I have
Yeah.
not personally. Um but I encourage, if you can, to speak on the bills. Many people have gone and dragged in the last couple weeks, couple days, in fact, um, to speak on these bills. And the chuckles that come from the politicians makes me want to jump through the screen, to be honest, because they don't take anything that these people are saying seriously. But here we are, we're chuckling at people. Anyway,
Yep.
oops, and something else came up. Yes, a vast majority of folks say they are allies and are still not, and still doing anything to speak against this. You're
So
right.
we did actually talk about this a few weeks ago, as
Mm-hmm.
far as ways to show support and stuff. And one thing we need to remember is a lot of these sessions and things take place during the workday, and not everybody has the privilege to be able to take that time off of work.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are not able to do that, if you have kids, if you rely on those hours, if you don't have the PTO, if you can't take time off without pay, please don't feel bad.
Mm-mm.
We get it. It's
And we all
not
fight
everybody is able to.
differently.
Right. You can send messages to the legislature, and you can email them. There are things that are you are able to do if there are marches or any of that. If you are able to do those, do that. There's all sorts of, yes, you can
Oh.
speak against them digitally. So there are things to do, things that you can do. But if you are able, please do. We need all the support we can get. We really do. Things are rough out there.
Yeah. Yikes.
What have you got coming up, Felicia?
Let's see. On April 2nd, that's Sunday, I will be at Rainbows Festival with Magic at 3 p.m. And I think I'm performing that night at Stacy's.
Let me find that out. April 2nd, I will be getting a haircut and then sleeping and then driving to Austin.
Yay! I wish I was going with you. Please take me.
I know.
Let me sleep in your bags.
I don't have any room in my bags. But I will be in Austin starting next Monday night. I start performing Wednesday night at sort of the unofficial official, which will be super fun. That's happening at Valhalla. Starts at 10 p.m. There's I think an $11 cover or something like that. It's out of town, be in town. So we're gonna that off. Should be so much fun. And then Thursday night is the trans and non-binary showcase. I'm also performing in that. Friday night is the King's Night. I'm also performing in that. Saturday night, I'm actually hosting one of the one of the shows. That'll be fun. I'm also performing in it as well. And then Sunday, I'm in the closing show, the goodbye party or whatever the fuck it is. So it's going to be a hell of a week. If you're in Austin, or you're driving distance or whatever, please, it's a good time. I recommend it. Highly recommend it. And then when I get back, April 14th through 16th is Southwest Love Fest, which is a poly and relationship and all things kind of conference. There's all sorts of different panels and workshops and things going on then. It's happening in Tucson. If you would like tickets, let me know. I have a link where you can save a few bucks. As long as this doesn't get canceled, I don't think it should, but just putting it out there because it is a possibility. If it doesn't get canceled, May 4th is Drag Story Hour Bingo at the Drink Meet Room, which is, as soon as we get confirmation that is going to still happen, we will put up the link. If you are available, please, it'll be a good time, and Drag Story Hour needs your support. And then June 2nd, we will be at Phoenix Fan, which will be a hell of a good show. I'm really excited about that too. Yeah, I think that's about all I got.
That's all I got right now. I like to book myself, but so next week there will be
and April 22nd
show.
April 22nd is
yes, sex trivia. So next week there will be no show. Let's have a Fefe. But when Freddy returns, on the 12th?
Yes. There will be a show after I get back to Austin. My special co-host is yet to be determined.
But
I have some awesome people interested. Very excited.
A couple people messaged me because they don't follow directions, but I think they have messaged you since then. So
probably.
But anyhow, just things going on in my day-to-day life that the conversation's still going. Voting for D for one of those. I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one. Should we put together a poll?
Oh my God.
Is that going to make it more valid?
It's fine. There's 3 Wednesdays, so we'll figure it out.
It's okay. I have been getting the dad look for more than a decade. You're fine. Yes, and the groans. The groans is like the full package. You can't forget the groans. And the shaking of the head. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's part of the deal. And yeah. Mm-hmm. You should be able to handle that. You'll cry after the show. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, Lord.
But I'm not going anywhere for those that are asking.
These are all auditions.
Not going anywhere.
To replace Felicia.
Don't start.
The show will then be called Let's Have a Free.
Yikes. I don't even... Ooh. 3 years and I've officially... you're earning your way. Mm-hmm. You're earning your way. There's a stamp card somewhere. Free something.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
Oh my God, this has become a discussion.
So much. Please make sure that you follow the link to check out the fundraising event that Madame Askew is doing, because it's a fantastic
What's the fundraiser called again?
The Terrific Drag thing. The Terrific, like terrific, but it's the Terrific Drag something. We'll post the thing. It's fine.
Okay, wonderful. So
But we
if
posted
you're
the
on
link
the
in the chat, so
podcast, I'll
go to
post the
that.
link in the description so that you have it. Thank you for all of you who watch live and those that continue to support us and the things that we do outside of drag included, because uh, sometimes that is what matters. In fact, it is what matters. Thank you to all who watch on the replay, and those that block those that are anti-trans from your social medias. We are almost at 10,000. This number needs to be updated. We're almost at 10,000 downloads for our podcast. So if you listen, please put reviews on our podcast, because
Like, please.
we don't want anything less than 5 stars, and I don't understand why you would put
I don't know
anything
why you would either.
less than 5 stars. But anyhow, yes, good night. But listen to us on the podcast. Leave us a review, and we will see you in 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
I will be trying to I'll be trying to do some short videos, and I'll go live as if I can while I'm in Austin and stuff. So
We all follow you.
I'll try and do things and make content or something. I don't know. So.
No promises here, but good night, and we will see
Good
you in
night.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.